For a while on this channel, we've been doing NFL, fantasy, NFL stuff. Now it's time to turn over to college football for the first time on this channel. College football is something I'm looking very much forward to, and this would be my second time ever covering it for a full season. I did it on a channel prior, but now I'm doing it here. What we are doing today is making our top 25. Have a little bit of influence from other sources, but this is our own list, so get ready, get hyped. It is time to see who makes the top 25 and where. Hello everyone, my name is Aaron and this is the Game Day Hour. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at our college football top 25. So basically what goes on here is we're making our own top 25 separate from any other top 25, and throughout the year I'm going to be covering college football and NFL, but in the college football I am going to be doing matchups and rankings based on my own rankings. So this is the preseason rankings, so we're going to look at the 25 teams I put in specific order, and then I'm going to talk about why I put them there, because a week from now is week 0 of the college football week, which is basically first week of football. Not a lot of games, but there are some cool games, and we'll get to that later in another episode. But based on the top 25, essentially what I did is I made a little video a while back that I haven't posted, that I'm going to be posting here. I'm just basically announcing the teams, and this will be the only time I do it until the end of the season completely, when we do our last top 25 rankings. But you'll see the teams in order, and then I'm going to discuss over them. Sounds good? Let's get started. Welcome to the Game Day Hour's College Football Top 25 prior to the 2023 season. Let's see if your team made the list. Ranked 25th from the American Athletic Conference, we have the Tulane Green Wave. Ranked 24th from the Atlantic Coast Conference, we have the North Carolina Tar Heels. Ranked 23rd from the American Athletic Conference, we have the UCF Knights. Ranked 22nd from the Southeast Conference, we have the South Carolina Gamecocks. Ranked 21st from the Big 12 Conference, we have the Kansas State Wildcats. Ranked 20th from the Big 12 Conference, we have the Baylor Bears. Ranked 19th from the Southeast Conference, we have the Ole Miss Rebels. Ranked 18th from the Pac-12 Conference, we have the Washington Huskies. Ranked 17th from the Big 10 Conference, we have the Wisconsin Badgers. Ranked 16th from the Atlantic Coast Conference, we have the Florida State Seminoles. Ranked 15th from the Big 12 Conference, we have the TCU Horned Frogs. Ranked 14th from the Big 12 Conference, we have the Oklahoma Sooners. Ranked 13th from the Pac-12 Conference, we have the Utah Utes. Ranked 12th from the Pac-12 Conference, we have the Oregon Ducks. Ranked 11th from the FBS Independent Conference, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Ranked 10th from the Big 10 Conference, we have the Penn State Nittany Lions. Ranked 9th from the Atlantic Coast Conference, we have the Clemson Tigers. Ranked 8th from the Southeast Conference, we have the Tennessee Volunteers. Ranked 7th from the Big 12 Conference, we have the Texas Longhorns. Ranked 6th from the Pac-12 Conference, we have the USC Trojans. Ranked 5th from the Southeast Conference, we have the LSU Tigers. Ranked 4th from the Southeast Conference, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Ranked 3rd from the Big Ten Conference, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ranked 2nd from the Big Ten Conference, we have the Michigan Wolverines. And ranked 1st from the Southeast Conference, we have the Georgia Bulldogs. So yeah, that was our top 25. Let's discuss each team. And before I start discussing, I wanted to make a quick note that there was some college football realignment that happened and started this season. So UCF is actually not in the AAC. They're in the Big 12. Just wanted to make that clear up. So let's start. At 25, we had Tulane. Tulane ended the season off amazing last year with a Cotton Bowl victory over USC. So they had to be in the top 25, but they did lose some important offensive pieces, which is why they are dropped down to the number 25 spot. For North Carolina, I mean, they have potentially one of the best quarterbacks and a good wide receiver core. So they have some high-powered weapons ready to go for the year as they open up against South Carolina. UCF, a lot of people don't have UCF in their top 25, nor does ESPN, but I think UCF is a really good team, and based on when I was looking over the teams, UCF was regarded pretty highly, so I put them in the top 25. 23 is a good spot to have them. I was shocked to see that South Carolina wasn't in many top 25s, but they got a really good team. Don't be shocked if they're one of the top premier SEC teams this year. They might not be the best SEC team, but they're up there for high competition, and even though they lost to Notre Dame, they played very well. And of course, Kansas State, I mean, what a way for Kansas State to go out last year. I mean, I know they lost to Alabama, but to beat TCU in the Big 12 championship was very great, and right now I have them at 21 because they did lose some offensive pieces. So this is who I have in 25 through 21. So I see that Baylor isn't really like all the way in the top 25 in any other video, but I really think this Baylor team is going to do something special. I mean, they have a pretty tough schedule to begin off with, but I think that they're going to be doing very well. For Ole Miss, I mean, Ole Miss is in many top 25s, and I think they have a pretty good offense that's ready to rock and roll this year. Washington, some people got Washington in the top 10. Upper top 15s. I have them at 18 right now. I'm not going to put them that high, but I know that they're a team that's to be premiering for the Pac-12 before they leave for the Big 10. So Wisconsin, I mean, it's really hard not to put Wisconsin in. I generally will put them into the top 25. I mean, their team has gotten better, so it makes sense. This is a good spot for them. And then the one I'm always very controversial about is Florida State. I'm surprised Florida State was in the top 10 when I was looking at the rankings prior to making this video, but I think 16 is a nice spot to have them. I know they're going to be ranked. They had a great year last year. I just didn't think top 10 worthy just yet. Now this spot is a little consistent. TCU, I mean, they made the championship game but got blown out by Georgia. Then they lost a lot of offensive pieces like Dugan and Quinton. So their team is fairly new, but you can't push them out of the top 25 after being in the championship. So 15 is a good spot to have them. Oklahoma made some very big moves in the offseason, and it seems like Oklahoma might have a better year for Mike Venable for his second year at Oklahoma. I think their team is much better, and 14 is a nice spot to have them. For Utah, Utah is generally in this area. I mean, they had a pretty big year last year, and of course they won the Pac-12, so 13's a nice spot to have them. And of course they're gonna have a little bit of a tougher year, and they'll have tougher years ahead of them with the Big 12 on its way, so there's that. And then the other team besides Washington, Oregon, is going to the Big Ten in a few years. Their team looks great this year. Bo Nix is having his final ride in college football, so he's one of the best premier quarterbacks, so of course he's going to be at number 12. And then, of course, Notre Dame, I mean, they had a great offseason. Sam Hartman was a big pickup, and Notre Dame just looks like they're ready to roll this year. They got a very tough schedule. I mean, the Buckeyes, the Trojans, and Clemson Tigers. It's going to be pretty tough, but I think Notre Dame is ready to go. Just outside the top 10, though. Now we've entered the top 10, and this is where it kind of gets exciting. So I put Penn State up there because, I mean, Penn State still has a very great team, and quarterback position is great, and their defense is arguably one of the best in the league, especially in the secondary. I've heard that they have the best secondary, and it looks like it too. We're about to see because, man, division like the Big Ten, having to deal with Ohio State, Marvin Harrison, ooh. I'm interested to see how Penn State handles Ohio State this year, but I think they got it. Clemson's back in the top 10 at number 9, but I mean, even though they have a younger core, new quarterback, I don't want to put them much higher, but I know they're still top 10 quality, so still great on the defensive end as well. Joe Milton taking over for Tennessee after Hendon Hooker went on to the NFL, and good backup. Tennessee is lucky to have them, and they're at number 8. I see a lot of times they're at number 12 in many rankings, including the ESPN rankings, but I don't know. I still think they're top 10 worthy. Texas, now this is the biggest jump because I believe that Texas has the best quarterback room in all of college football. Not the best quarterback, just the room. Quentin Ewers and, of course, Arch Manning. So no matter who they go with, they have a top tier quarterback, and I imagine if you look at that roster up and down, a lot of accommodations there as well. USC has to be up there. I mean, why wouldn't USC be up there? They have the former Heisman, and they still got one killer offense ready to go this year. But this is going to be their last year in the Pac-12 as far as I'm concerned, so go out with a bang, USC. And then, of course, LSU at number 5. What Brian Kelly did with that team is very good, and they have a really tough matchup against Florida State week 1, but hey, LSU I think is prepared for a matchup like that. I think they're prepared overall for the SEC, so this is going to be very fun to see this LSU team. Now we are in the top 4, and of course you know the top 4 at the end of the year for college football playoffs, they get to go on to the playoffs and play for the championship. So our preseason number 4 is Alabama, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, Alabama is Alabama football, and I agree. However, if you take a look at their team and then you want to compare it to previous teams, this team feels so weird. I'm not saying that they're bad. I have to see them play. But like the quarterback position, it's not getting me hyped up. It's no Bryce Young, it's no Mac Jones. Now, it could get me hyped up throughout the year, but right now, I don't know. Alabama's quarterback core does not look like it's at its best that it's been in the last 15 years. Ohio State, of course, is the same thing with Alabama when it comes to the quarterback room. It feels very off and very weird. I have to see a little bit more from them. But their team overall is very good. Great wide receiver core, of course. Michigan is retained a lot of pieces from last season, and even though they lost to TCU in the championship, number 2 is where they belong. I mean, they have such a loaded roster, so you have to put them number 2. And of course, number 1 is the back-to-back champions, Georgia. Now, same deal with Georgia. The quarterback room is a little different, but they have an amazing defense and a pretty good offense, so they have to be number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 were no-brainers. I know 3 and 4 feel a little bit odd, but hey, college football is going to work itself out, and it's going to happen very soon. So this is the top 4: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama. And that'll do it for the top 25. I normally am not going to discuss super hard why a team is in the position that they're in, but throughout the year I'm going to be watching closely, and these videos will be a little more insightful for when each game goes on. When a team wins big or loses, I'm going to be rearranging the top 25 each Sunday after the early week. I know first week, you know, there's a game on Monday so I can't do the rankings until Tuesday. But yeah, that'll be it for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Get used to this. This is going to be part of the series. I'm going to be mixing this along with predicting certain college games, like I'm going to be doing with the NFL, fantasy, and all NFL games. And I'll get more into that when that video comes around. But until then, follow me on Facebook, follow me on X, Instagram, and TikTok. And that'll do it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next episode. So have a great day. Take care. And goodbye.